Chelsea won Manchester United nil at Stamford Bridge in the FA Cup quarterfinals, which means Manchester United have been eliminated and knocked out from the FA Cup, a competition which we won last year under Louis van Gaal. I'm going to be honest with you, I saw it coming. I expected the defeat, expected the worst, hoped for the best, and we've been beaten 1-0 by a superb Kante strike. But the game for me will be overshadowed by a piece of controversy right in the very first half, and Herrera being sent off for 2 bookings. But we'll talk about that in a minute. I would like to talk about how I thought United played. I'd like to talk about how I thought Kante scored a great goal, but the fact is, the thing which will be dominating all the headlines, the thing which will be dominating all the press, all the media, and this video today will be that red card for Ander Herrera. Now, first of all, Herrera gets booked for what looks like a cynical challenge. He stands in the way of Hazard, but at the same time, you could argue, yes, that Hazard's ran into him. You know what I mean? It is a yellow card on some offences, but I think maybe that one may have been a little bit harsh just because of the fact that it looked like Hazard ran into him. But either way, it's a cynical foul from Herrera, and I don't have too many complaints for that, but I was a bit more annoyed about how Hazard went down under that challenge and pretended he had a massive head injury and all that. But the second one, for me, was never a yellow card. I think, Frank Lampard said it wasn't a yellow card at the end of the game. I got to be honest with you, I agree with him. I agree that it was not a yellow card. Herrera puts his leg out and Hazard goes over it. And then, if you watch the way Hazard falls down, it just tells you so much about how it wasn't really a foul at all. And yes, Herrera's leg is there, but Hazard goes down over it far too easily, and realistically, he shouldn't be going down. However, I would have to say it was naive. It was silly from Herrera because a couple of minutes before, Phil Jones had actually been told off. Chris Smalling was called over because we had fouled Hazard too much. And to be fair, we were targeting Hazard, and I don't really like to see that. I'd rather see us just match Hazard, but we started to sort of foul him a little bit more, being a little bit more physical around him. So the ref calls over Smalling, sort of tells them to stop fouling Hazard, I suppose. And what I hear is what he said was the next one gets a booking, and Herrera was naive and booked, went in for a tackle on him a minute after that. And the fact is, he was sent off for it, but it was never a red card. And it's a shame because it sort of ruined the game in a way. It changed the game completely because we took off our most creative player. Mata's not playing, Martial, Rooney, Ibrahimovic, some of our best players and most creative players aren't playing. Mkhitaryan was our most creative on the pitch. He was taken off, and we had to play with Fellaini. We had to play with we sort of had to park the bus and go a bit more defensive with that, because if coming away to Chelsea, if that's not difficult already, to play with 10 men, the fact that 3 days ago we played on a Russian pitch, which was a really dodgy pitch, it changed the game, and I didn't want to see it. I wanted to see how far United had progressed. We lost to this team 4-0 in October when we were humiliated, and since then we've not lost in the league, and that was October now, so that was about 6 months ago, and we've not lost in the league since then. And today was the real test to see how much we've come on. Today was the real test to see how much we've come on. I was really looking forward to seeing how much we've improved, and you have to say we've improved a lot since that October defeat when we lost 4-0 with 11 men. I've got to be honest with you, I'm proud of the spirit, the fight that Manchester United showed today. When we got the players sent off and went 1-0 down, I think our heads could have dropped and it could have been another 4-0 fresh in here. But it wasn't. Manchester United kept up their game, we defended well, and we hoped to hit them on a counter-attack, and we had a great chance from Rashford. Unfortunately, he didn't take it though. But as I said, I thought, I can't fault the players' hard work today. I thought they played really, really well. Marcus Rojo and Antonio Valencia stick out for me. For me, I thought they were both brilliant. Marcus Rojo was everywhere. Those are my 2 man of matches. David De Gea made a couple of good saves. I thought Rashford, he did what he could. He tried really hard, which I've got to say was fantastic, bearing in mind he was supposedly ill. But as I said, I think that's a great effort from the lads. Chelsea, they're top of the league. To play the team who are top of the league away from home, probably arguably the best team in England, I would say, at the moment, away from home, with 10 men for 55 minutes, having played in Russia on a dodgy pitch 3 days ago. but where they've had a whole week to prepare. We've played something like 15 or 16 more games than them this season. It's always going to be a difficult game for Manchester United. I mean, as I said, we've played so many more games than them. Our legs are tired because we played 3 days ago on a dodgy pitch in Russia. To play with 10 men for 55 minutes, it's always going to be much more difficult for Manchester United. And it's a shame that sort of ruined the game in a way. I've got to be honest, Chelsea deserved the win. You know, they did create more chances. I can only think of 2 chances Manchester United had, and one of them was great save from Courtois. But yeah, Chelsea did play well, and I think they probably did deserve to win the game. There's no doubt in that. It's just a shame that we got the player red carded, because I think if he doesn't get sent off, it could be a different game. I'm not saying that the red card means that we lose the game, because I'm just going to be honest with you. I expected Chelsea to win, even if I thought we had 11 men for the whole game. I thought Chelsea, you know, it's not often I expect and predict United not to get a win, and I predict the other team to win. It's just I thought, with all those factors I just mentioned about playing more games, playing in Russia 3 days ago, with the amount of players we had out, you know, I just expected Chelsea to win this one. It's just a shame that we had to play with 11 men and that disadvantage for most of it. But if I'm going to be honest with you, we're still in the Premier League top 4 hunt. We're still in the Europa League, and for me, those two are more important than the FA Cup. If you win the FA Cup, you get a piece of silverware and you get a place in the Community Shield. With the Europa League, you get a piece of silverware and you get into the Champions League. For me, that's the priority, is the Champions League qualification, which you get in the top 4 in the Premier League and you get in the Europa League. So for me, if I had to eliminate one of these competitions to get out of, I would say it was the FA Cup. It's just frustrating coming all this way. You know, just being 2 games away from Cup. But as I said, you know, we've already got the EFL Cup, and these other 2 games are definitely the priority. But it's just frustrating how we got the red card, because I don't think it was a red card. But thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you for Rostov on Thursday.